Today, I'm going to show you how to cook a delicious pan-seared bone-in ribeye. This is Now We're Cooking. This is a Choice bone-in ribeye from my local butcher, Tischler's Meat Market. Now, you can find something like this at pretty much any local butcher, and I would suggest finding your local butcher because the choice grade meat that they'll provide you is usually going to be better than that of a regular grocery store. If you're not trying to spend $50 to $60 on a prime piece of meat and still want a delicious steak, this is the way to go. We also dry brined this overnight, and that's simply salting your steak the way you would before you cooked it, but doing it earlier. Now, if you've got the time to do it overnight, that's the best way to do it. But if you don't, a few hours or a couple hours even will suffice. We're also going to be using grapeseed oil in the pan to sear the steak because grapeseed oil gets to a very high temperature without burning. You can also use avocado oil as another great substitute as well. We're also going to be basting this sweet baby in some aromatics, 4 cloves of garlic chopped in half, and I'm using thyme. A lot of people use rosemary, but I just prefer thyme. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Both things will get you where you want to be. Even though we are basting this with garlic and thyme, I'm still adding a little bit of extra garlic powder because, you know what, I love garlic, and a little bit of fresh ground black pepper. Now remember, if you dry brine this, you do not need to salt this again. It's already plenty salted. Our next step is going to be to sear this thing on both sides for about 1 minute to 2 minutes on each side, depending on how thick your steak is. Mine was a decent size thickness, so I went with about 1.5 minutes. Now we're going to pull the steak out, let it rest for about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, and while we're doing that, we're also lowering the heat down on this cast iron pan to medium to low medium, and this is so we don't burn our butter. We definitely do not want burned butter. I repeat, do not burn your butter. Once you've allowed that pan to cool down a bit and get to that medium temperature, we melt a half stick of butter. I know it sounds like a lot. Your garlic and either your thyme or your rosemary. And the reason we're using so much butter is because we're just basting the steak with it. We're not going to be drenching it in it. We're not going to be using all of this butter, but we do need to have enough to bathe our meat. Your steak is now going to go back into your pan, and you're going to cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side, again, depending on the size of your steak. But you're going to make sure to do this. Spoon that delicious butter gold goodness all over that while you're doing it the whole time. Don't be shy. Again, remember, it's going to come off anyways. We're not keeping all of it. We're just giving it a beautiful bath. So remember, don't be shy with your butter. Depending on your preference, you're going to want to get this to an internal temperature of between 110 and 115 because we're going to let it rest to finish cooking as well. When you cut this bad boy, try your best to remember to cut against the grain. Now, it isn't an end-all be-all thing, but it does create a better chew and a more tender bite, and the reason is because when you cut against the grain, you help loosen up the fibers that hold the meat together. The only thing left to do is enjoy. Thank you guys for stopping by the channel. I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider liking and subscribing for more.